What is going on, YouTube people? Today is something a little different. We are going to boil down to the absolute basics. And there is no technical right or wrong here. This is what has worked well for me and worked well for a lot of other people with some factors involved in it. And what we're going to talk about today is at base level, if you want to invest in sealed product, these are the types of product you should go after. I have a very narrow focus. There's a few reasons for that, and we're going to talk about that as we kind of move through this little exercise today. So for some of you all, this might be no-brainer information. For some folks, this might be, oh, wow, this is fantastic. So it just kind of depends on where you fall on that spectrum. Like I said, there is no perfect answer for this. This is just what has worked out well for me that I am passing on for you. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this. I have a few examples that we'll pull up to talk about. I don't necessarily care about the set when we're talking about this. I have Surging Sparks and Prismatic pulled up as our two examples here. But for the most part, you could take the set names out of this. The main thing that you want to focus on is there are two types of sets. There is a main release set, there is a specialty set. The difference is mainline sets get booster boxes. Specialty sets do not. So it kind of changes the math a little bit on what you want to go after. And remember, this is through the lens of I would like to buy sealed boxes, put them on a shelf, hope they go up, and sell them for a profit later in life. That's the primary focus / discussion of this video today. Let's talk mainline sets first, because those are the simplest in my opinion. And this is where I like to keep things simple. On mainline sets, I focus on two products. That's right, two. Booster boxes, which you obviously see right here. Typically, I like to buy in case format, but I have no issue buying individual boosters as well. You will get a slight premium for sealed cases in a lot of times, but quite frankly, the biggest reason why I like sealed cases is they store easier. The other thing, and this is across the board, I don't care if it's a mainline set or a specialty set. Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs. These are the cream of the crop. As of right now in early 2025, depending on when you're stumbling across this video, these are very hard to track down and get. The only way you can get them is buying direct from Pokemon Center. Right now, at the present time, that involves sitting in queues, pounding your face against your keyboard, and crying underneath your desk because you were unsuccessful and because of your frustrations. But in the before times, when you could just readily get product, and you can log on the site and buy your little limit 4 and move on. The biggest issue with Pokemon Center exclusive stuff is you're capped at how much quantity you could get. It's very hard to amass large positions of these, especially if you want to pay as close to MSRP as possible. It's going to be very difficult to load up on a bunch of these. But not everybody wants pallets of product. Myself personally, and your mileage is going to vary on this, I generally speaking like around one case of booster boxes and some PC ETBs for each release if booster boxes exist. Now, once again, your bankroll is going to determine how high or low you fall on that scale. The biggest reason why I like booster boxes is size and shape and number of cards per square inch. You get the most bang for your buck for the least amount of size possible out of a booster box. And that is quite honestly really what a lot of this comes down to. I know a lot of people that buy the big collection boxes. You know, you see those big collection boxes that have various assorted packs in it. You could do quite well on those. I'm not saying that you can't. The packs inside are the packs inside. The biggest issue, and there's two issues with it, and I've talked about this a bunch in other videos. They are a pain to store. They are a pain to ship. Now, if you have outlets to move product locally without having to ship, that is a little bit of an X factor. If you have room to store them, that may play into your purchase decisions. I technically have the room. I could make the room. I just don't want to get that crazy. So I choose to focus on booster boxes and PC ETBs for mainline sets. On occasion, I will stray, but 9 times out of 10, that is what I am going for. Now, those are the easiest ones. Let's talk about specialty sets. Prismatics Evolutions is a good example of a specialty set. Specialty set means no booster box. PC ETBs get a even bigger boost here. With no booster boxes in sight, these become extremely collectible. And in the case of ETBs in general, especially on specialty sets, and you could really extend this out to all sets, but it takes longer to get there. The ETB itself will become the collectible regardless of the packs and the contents inside, because a lot of people actually just collect sealed ETBs because they display really nicely. PC ETBs, cream of the crop when it comes to specialty sets. Regular ETBs, also very good in specialty sets. You start getting in the pain in the butt to store factor when you get into ETBs. I have a couple of cases of ETBs. I have a case of Crown Zenith ETBs sealed. Nice box, looks great, big brown cardboard box. One case of ETBs, which is typically 10, takes up the same amount of space of probably 2.5 booster cases. So do the math on that in regards to how much space it's taking up for one case of ETBs versus 2.5 to 3 cases of booster boxes. Way more space. These are also a pain to ship. Whether you're selling it in a sealed case form, it's a big box, or you're breaking it up and selling individual ETBs. Those are a pain to ship too. But for specialty sets, we don't have a whole lot of choice. The other option, which I like the most, booster bundles. Booster bundles are little tiny boxes. There's 6 packs per box. You can stack the hell out of these things. For $151, I have about 40 or 50 loose booster bundles. They do come in sealed displays. Usually there's 10 in a display, depending. Some releases it's 20 per sealed case. Some have displays, it's 10 per display. I love the sealed displays. Those become quite rare, and the sealed display will actually get a premium over 10 loose boxes in a lot of cases. Now, booster bundles for specialty sets are fantastic. They store very easily. They ship very easily if you're selling them, or you're taking them to a show to set up with. The asterisk here, or the fear here, is they, at least in modern times, it seems like what Pokemon Company is doing, they print a metric ton of these. I mean a ton of them. 151, they've been spitting these things out left, right, and center. This is their outlet to get packs to market. Generally speaking, over time, I do think ETBs in a lot of cases on a popular set will outperform the bundle. But there is a trade-off of size, shape, and shipping. So keep that in mind, because the booster bundle is not that collectible. It's a little cardboard box. The ETB itself becomes the collectible at some point in time. And that matters. And that will drive the price on those. They also print way less of them than booster bundles. Booster bundles, they could just crap those things out left, right, and center. It's low effort compared to an ETB, because an ETB has all the nonsense inside of it, all the accessories. Now, I don't have any pulled up here because they vary a lot. Ultra premium collections. There's been like a Charizard one. There is a Prismatic Evolutions one coming up. They're great. They perform very well. I typically steer away from them because of what we talked about before. Size, shipping, storage. They take up a ton of space, they can be heavy, and they are a pain to ship. That's the biggest reason I stay away from them. That being said, if and Prismatic's a good example because Prismatic collection boxes are about to release here in a few weeks. If I run into them at the store at MSRP, I'm going to buy them because the value is just too good. I'm just not going out of my way to hoard them or get cases of them or whatever unless I'm getting an extremely good deal on it. A good deal will out trump. I will put a good deal in front of my rules of size, shape, and shipping. So the correct deal will trump all the nonsense. I'll deal with it and figure it out. But everything being equal, I'm going to lead towards PC ETBs, booster boxes, ETBs on specialty sets, and booster bundles on specialty sets. I do not like booster bundles on mainline sets. I would rather just buy a booster box. So if you have the opportunity to buy cases of booster bundles of, let's say, Surging Sparks, for example, I would rather take the equivalent amount of money and just buy booster boxes instead of booster bundles. That's just me. And that is very specific to mainline sets only. And then, like I said, there is the ancillary products. Some of that stuff performs well. You know, we've seen it with binder collections, things like that. They do take up more space. I do have some of them. I just don't make that my primary focus. You know, in the binder collection case, the binder became very popular with 151, and the binder itself has value. I do like sealed cases if available of some of that specialty product. For example, the binder collections, I have a sealed case of Prismatic Evolutions binder collections because you don't see sealed cases of those very often. The surprise boxes, which is a new product, we've never seen that before, so we don't really have any track record on how that's going to perform. I have a couple sealed cases of those because those ancillary products sometimes you don't find in sealed case format as often. So I broke my rules a little bit there, but generally speaking, that is not my primary focus. You need to be flexible on all these. These are not set in stone. These are kind of like the pirate code. These are guidelines more than rules. So curious for your thoughts and comments down below. How do you approach a regular set versus a specialty set when it comes to investing in product? Is there certain things you like to go off after that I did not mention, or certain rules that you have in place for yourself? Share all that stuff down below. It can be helpful to me, and it could also be helpful to others potentially. So that is all I got. Catch you boys and girls on the next one. Peace.